Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Green Arrow, issue number 41. What? Professor Bill, since when do you do the Green Arrow? Well, apparently since my Eye of Agamotto practically berated me for not doing it. He's literally, for a long time now. You need to read this. You need to read this. So, okay, fine. I'm going to read this arc. This seems pretty fun, all right? And realistically, a lot of people have been telling me that the Green Arrow for Rebirth on is amazing. All right, cool, brother. Here I am. Here I am. Here's your chance to impress. And this first issue did exactly that. So, and I want to see how this arc ends, all right? If it ends on a sour note, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to be reading it anymore. So, lots depending on this arc. But this is interesting, I have to admit, all right? You got the Green Arrow. He's the non-super hero. You know what I'm saying? Fights for justice, fights for... And I've always loved that about this iteration. I think Andy Diggle was the person who really kind of put that forward, but whoever. Green Arrow has been that guy who's fought for social justice for a long time. He's not an SJW, all right? That's not what's happening here. But he's the guy who's like, listen, I'm going to fight against whoever's doing a bad thing. That could be the police. You know, say police brutality exists. It exists. It exists. And nobody will fight against that harder than the Green Arrow. You know what I'm saying? Well, there's other people like, I'll take, pictures with all the cops because they're all good guys. He's more like, okay, listen, some of you are good, but I'm looking at you who are bad. So I've always liked that about Green Arrow. In this first arc, or in this particular arc, he's showing that again. So excellent on the writer, excellent, because every comic book that you put out is somebody's first comic book. And this is my first Green Arrow book since Rebirth and now the new DC universe, all right? So I'm very glad that they reestablished right there. Good. This is still the same Green Arrow for the most part that I'm reading. Awesome. The parasite, this is really focusing on the parasite. He's being transferred from one prison to another, looks like. And this dude, the Mastodon, awesome. I'm not actually familiar with this character, but apparently he's really stupid and unbelievably strong, and he spits on Parasite. Parasite freaks out, and just he gains the energy from that spittle, that saliva, and he boom, he Mastodons out and just starts wrecking house, and he breaks through the ground, runs away through the sewer. And unfortunately, it turns out that now there's a prison riot, and all these guys are loose, so the Green Arrow has to go by with arrows, a couple of trick arrows, and just take all these guys out. And I love that you get to see that his gigantic quiver is it's painfully reduced. So he's got those arrows left to go down after Parasite, one of the most powerful creatures that the DC universe has ever faced. Like, he goes one-on-one with Superman. It's like, I'll take your power to fight you. So this is actually a really grand idea. This is an interesting concept, that the best person to go after Parasite is the guy with no powers, because what's he going to do? You going to take my skill with the bow and arrow? You still got to get my bow and the arrows. So I'm digging that. He takes out Count Vertigo pretty interestingly in a very cool way. I absolutely love that, because Green Arrow needs to be smart. He needs to be thinking. This literally reminded me back to my one and only favorite scene from the Punisher Wolverine. I think it was only like 2 issues where they crossed over from the War Journal. There's a scene where I believe it was Punisher who got knocked into the sea, into this bog, whatever, and this alligator was coming after him. And he's like, crap, I was just unconscious. Now I'm underwater. Which way's up? Wait, follow the bubbles. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So if you get thrown, okay, I was a teenager. So I was still in high school. I was actually reading the comic book in high school in my geometry class. I totally aced the class. It's fine. But yeah, man. It's like I remember him, like follow the bubbles. Like, that's ingenious. I love that. So this brought me back to that. So I'm loving the writing on this story right now. The art is second to none. I like that Parasite is given a bit more of a personality. He doesn't want this great power anymore. He doesn't want this great curse anymore. That's what it seems like to me. He's like, no, I don't want to go in here. Like, he's not talking to anybody. He just looks so miserable. He just looks so sad. Like, oh my God, like I felt bad for him, but it's like, no, it's a parasite. That guy's evil. So, fantastic comic book. Great that the first issue that I'm reading on this story, I'm loving it. So, perfect in every way. Perfect in every way. All right, I'll see you for the next issue, and maybe you'll see me for other issues while I'm doing this. In the meantime, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.